Hey there, my name is Trent and I've recently been asking myself, am I enjoying the video games I'm playing or am I just playing them out of habit? To work this out, I've decided to make an attempt at starting a series of videos where I review and play some popular and or highly rated games, which I either haven't played a lot of, or ideally I haven't played at all. If you have a favorite game you think I should check out, let me know, because if you're anything like me, then you love watching videos where other people give their takes on your favorite games. To start off with though, I will go through my Steam library, which currently has around 500 games, looking for ones I haven't really played and checking to see if there's anything I've missed out. As a side note, I'll be streaming all the games I play on my Twitch channel, which I'll link in the description. If you enjoy the video, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And if you'd like to get ahead of me releasing a video and get some live impressions, please check out my Twitch channel and give me a follow there as well. I won't necessarily have a fixed schedule of uploading videos, so make sure that if you do subscribe that you have notifications turned on with the bell icon. Battle Chef Brigade is a 2D fighting / tile matching puzzle game where the main aspect of the game is challenging an NPC chef to who can make a dish worth the most amount of points. The game currently has a 97% positive review rate on Steam with over 1,000 reviews and is available at full price for around $20 or £16. The graphics are visually appealing and have an anime style to them. I had no issues distinguishing between anything in the game, which always makes for a pleasant playing experience. The game's art style is reserved, with none of the characters having aggressive wardrobes, so there's no need to worry about someone accidentally seeing what kind of game you're playing, like with some anime games. As a side note, I didn't have my game capture set up properly for the first 5 hours I was playing, so all the footage will be from the second half of the game. Movement in the game is pretty good and the controls aren't difficult to pick up. I played on keyboard using WASD, spacebar, and the arrow keys. You have a few movement abilities, such as a dash to avoid enemies without taking damage, a backstab / blink to teleport behind enemies, and an uppercut which you can use to reach higher ledges if timed correctly, as well as a few other abilities. I wouldn't say it's either particularly difficult or forgiving in terms of movement, but you can animation lock yourself doing certain abilities which, if timed incorrectly, is going to result in you taking damage. If you time jumping and the use of certain attacks, you're able to reach higher cliffs and ledges more quickly, shaving off a precious few seconds on your run if done properly, which does feel good. I played the campaign on hard difficulty, so my perspective on the gameplay will come from that kind of point. And on this difficulty, it took me around 10 hours in total playtime to go from start to finish over the game's 6 chapters. There are also some mini-games and challenges on the main menu to play through, and also an online battle mode, but I also rarely play these types of modes as I'm more interested in playing a game around the story. These modes do serve as a little bit of extra gameplay though, and you get the option to play as a new character which is not available to play in the campaign. The game is called Battle Chef, and it's definitely more about the battle and less about the chef in my opinion. You don't really get to choose how your dish comes out, as it's just the ingredients used in certain ways will automatically make a dish, and you don't really follow a recipe at all. If you were going to try this game out thinking it's some kind of cooking simulation, unfortunately it isn't. The way it works is you start a duel against another character in the game, and you go out of your kitchen prep area to slay monsters, grab ingredients, and then cook the required dishes. The ingredients you use don't really contribute to your overall control of the visual aspect of the dish, it's more about generating a high score through the puzzle matching system. Each ingredient can have one or more flavors, those flavors being fire, water, earth, and each flavor can be level 1, 2, or 3, with 3 being worth the most points. The ingredients may also contain special properties like having bone, poison, or cracked flavors in them, and these will need to be handled properly in order to avoid losing score unnecessarily. In the tile matching part of the duel, you mix ingredients by rotating them in blocks of 4 in one of your chosen cooking utensils. Combining flavors of the same type increases the flavors and level and will contribute to your dish having a higher score. Cracked flavors will break if you rotate them too many times, removing them from the board. Poison fragments will apply a penalty to your dish if they're present at time of serving, and if you rotate the poison fragments too many times, then they will explode and damage or destroy your other flavors. I believe poison tiles can be combined to create upgrade tiles which will appear on the board and upgrade any flavor in that spot, but I would usually dispose of the poison rather than risk accomplishing this. Bone fragments can be combined to create wildcard flavors to match with and upgrade other flavors of Tier 1 or Tier 2, but if you have a cutting board available as one of your 3 utensils, then you're able to remove any of these tiles that you don't want in a dish, which I found exceptionally useful during my play. You will need to create a dish for each of the judges present in the duel, and there will be between 1 and 3 judges, each of which will have a different flavor request. The specific flavor combination is achieved by having predominantly level 3 flavors of that type present in the dish. If there are multiple flavor requests from one judge, then the level 3 flavors must be present in equal parts, or the 50-point bonus will not be awarded. A main ingredient is chosen at the start of each duel, which must be included in each of the dishes you create for the judges. Otherwise, your score for that dish will be halved. There is another penalty for going over the time on the clock, but to be honest, I never went over the time during a successful round, and if I was close to the timer, I probably made a mistake while collecting or matching ingredients, which meant I was going to lose anyway. Before you commence a duel, you have the option to walk around the town area and complete mini-games based on the cooking and fighting systems in order to earn coins. These coins can be used to purchase upgrades to help your cooking in the duels. There are 3 types of upgrades that can be purchased and equipped to your loadout before you start. These are combat upgrades, cooking ingredients, and cooking utensils. The first time you enter a duel, you will not be able to change your loadout to suit the requests of the judges, so you'll always be going in blind with your picks that you chose before the start of the match. However, if you lose a duel and need to rematch, the requirements of the duel do not change, and the game allows you to alter your loadout to suit the situation with no penalty. While playing, I found a basic loadout of utensils and combat skills that worked for me, and I only really had to change the cooking ingredients I started off with. Combat upgrades help with slaying monsters to collect ingredients out in the field, and include health and mana upgrades, damage and spell utility upgrades, and the ability to hold more ingredients in your satchel. Cooking ingredients allow you to start with certain flavors, combo pieces, or effects available at the start of the duel. You can also equip an expertise bonus here for making your dish in a certain way, which will award bonus points to the dish. Cooking utensils allow you to have a unique setup for making your food, including a cutting board to remove unwanted flavors, different ovens which can slowly upgrade, duplicate, or save your flavors, and different pans which have various matching and combo effects to make upgrading flavors easier. In order to gather ingredients, you must exit your kitchen prep area to explore a 2D platforming section with monsters and plants, where you will need to use the verticality of the level in order to reach different areas. Killing the monsters has them drop different body parts, and each body part has its own different type of flavors. Plants just need to be hit 1 or 2 times, and then you can pick them up. As you find ingredients, you will need to pick them up and return them to the kitchen to use them. If you run out of health while picking up ingredients, you'll drop all your ingredients on the floor, get teleported back to the kitchen, and incur a time penalty. Harder monsters drop higher level ingredients, which helps in speeding up the cooking process, but these monsters also do more damage, which makes it riskier to collect them if your personal combat skills are not so good. As you begin to run out of time, you will need to add the finishing touches to your dishes and make sure your flavors are balanced correctly. Each level of flavor has a point value, with level 3 flavors being worth the most at 25 points each, so you want to stack as many of these level 3s as possible. Dishes must be served individually to each judge, so you need to make sure you don't give the wrong judge the wrong dish, or you won't get your bonus points at the end of the round. You can't affect how the enemy cook makes their dish, but they're programmed to make mistakes, so the game is always fair. There's a few times that I saw NPCs give a maximum 400-point dish to a judge and then lose half their score because the dish did not include the main ingredient. After all of your dishes have been served to the judges, the scoring will take place against the enemy chef, and whoever has the most points will win the duel. In terms of the mini-games I mentioned earlier, there are 3 to partake in prior to starting your duels. The first one is a strictly puzzle minigame with no time limit. You are required to rotate and add flavors to a dish until you reach the target score. The second minigame is a hunting minigame where you are sent out to test your combat abilities in a short trial. And the third minigame is a quick-fire, pattern-matching minigame where you must rotate the flavors in a dish to match the one you see on screen. All minigames will reward you with some coin on completion so you can buy the upgrades you desire, but there doesn't seem to be the ability to buy all the upgrades in the game, so choose carefully. Some of the upgrades in the game are awarded through story completion though, and I found myself mostly using these, so don't be worried about being locked into any dead-end choices when picking new items. Feel free to experiment. There isn't really any character progression in the game other than the cooking upgrades and the increase to your own personal skill and decision making while playing. There isn't any visual character customization during gameplay, and there are no level ups, experience, or character talents to assign. So it's not much of an RPG in that sense, but you do get to create your own style of how you'd like to cook the dishes by altering your loadout. There are not really any definitive bosses in this game. In each of the platforming sections, there are stronger monsters that appear on the map, dropping higher level ingredients. There are a couple of fighting sections in the game where you fight a boss type monster purely for the skill of the fight without ingredients being on the line, but these fights weren't massively challenging. The skill of the chefs you duel against does increase as you move forwards in the story, with them creating dishes worth increasingly more points, but the gameplay is always more of the same, and there is never a large difficulty spike or point where you just need to deal with the hand that you've been dealt, since if you lose a match, you can always alter your loadout for free. There are 6 chapters in the game which follow the progress of the main character, Mina, with one of these chapters seeing you take control of another character called Thrash, which gives some extra gameplay and background on their side of the story. Without trying to spoil too much, Mina is a hopeful cook who wants to join the Battle Chef Brigade and leaves home to try and make it in the capital city. You play as Mina for the majority of the game, but all the story elements are automatic and you make no personal inputs or decisions to the plot. All you do is read and listen to the story, with your only input being the Battle Chef duels and minigames. The story is a nice, feel-good story set out to create a good experience rather than be dark and complex. This does lead to points in the story where, if I was being intentionally critical, I would be saying something like, well, obviously, if that event happened, this wouldn't be the result. This is only happening to allow for the gameplay to continue. However, the story and the characters are unique enough that as long as you're playing to enjoy the game and not try to read into a deep, realistic story, it doesn't break immersion and does well enough to carry the game forwards. Overall, I would say I enjoyed the game. I managed to play for around 8 hours in a row on my first day playing, and finished the game on the second day after another couple of hours. I didn't really break from the game at all. I didn't feel bored or like I wanted to do something else. I think the ratings are well deserved. And I haven't looked at any of the reviews by other people, so everything I'm saying is my unaltered opinion. For the full price of the game, I wouldn't recommend it if you were only to go through one playthrough, as I completed in the game in about 10 hours on hard difficulty. If you are likely to play the game through twice, once on normal and one on hard as well, as doing the extra content in the main menu, I'm guessing you'd probably get around 25 hours of gameplay, and you could add another 5 hours if you wanted to go for the achievements. 25 to 30 hours at full price is much more reasonable, but I would recommend putting the game on your wishlist if you want to play it on Steam and keeping an eye out for a sale. I'm guessing this game is likely to receive deep discounts, making it cost a fraction of what it usually does. That is, assuming you're not someone who's willing to risk buying off a key website to get it now. So that's all I have to say for Battle Chef Brigade. Did I enjoy playing it? The answer is yes. Would I play through it a second time? Probably not, as there's not much variance or decision making to be made in the game that would entice me to go through a second playthrough on an alternative playstyle. But if you like these kinds of games, then you'll definitely get at least a couple of playthroughs on it, plus the minigames. Thanks for watching the second episode of Did I Enjoy, and please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to help keep me going, as well as checking out my Twitch channel if you'd like to get live impressions of the games I play. Peace out.